The girl dropped her belongings at the subway turnstile. A boy helped her pick them up. They locked eyes, suddenly feeling love at first sight. After graduating from university, Choi Hong was unsure about her future. To avoid her mother's nagging, she flew from Korea to Japan to study alone. On her way to meet a friend, she accidentally dropped her luggage due to its bulk. A boy helped her pick it up and took her to a less crowded place. Soon her friend arrived, and they joyfully reunited, taking photos together. They forgot the boy who was still holding Choi Hong's guitar. After taking selfies, they asked someone else to take a photo of them. Choi Hong then called the boy over to join in. After the photo, the boy politely said goodbye. Choi Hong watched him leave. That night, she noticed the helpful boy was also in the photos. She smiled unknowingly while zooming in on his face, though she didn't know his name or if they'd meet again. Days later, after completing her enrollment, Choi Hong pondered how to survive. Having insisted on studying abroad against her parents' wishes, she couldn't ask them for money and had to work. She applied for many part-time jobs, but was unsuccessful. Finally, she considered a ramen shop. Coincidentally, the boy she met before appeared just as she was about to enter. They both applied for the job, but the owner could hire only one. Choi Hong said she could speak Japanese and Korean, having lived in Japan as a child, and could serve foreign guests. Aoki Jungo, not to be outdone, boasted of his rich experience with diverse customers. The owner, unable to decide, let them both work a trial shift to determine who would stay based on performance. Both worked hard. Choi Hong dealt with a critical customer who refused her service and insulted her. Just as she felt lost, Aoki Jungo intervened, demanding the customer apologize or leave. The frustrated customer left. Knowing he'd broken the rules, Aoki Jungo voluntarily quit, leaving the job to Choi Hong. Moved yet guilty, Choi Hong was relieved when Aoki soon found work at a food truck across the street. From then on, she often found herself looking his way. The manager, noticing her feelings, helped by sending her to buy hot dogs from his truck. The staff watched their interactions from behind the glass, both clearly enjoying each other's company. To give them more chances to interact, Choi Hong was instructed to clean the streets with other merchants. She gathered early, feeling down without Aoki Jungo, who soon rushed over, apologizing for his lateness. During the cleanup, Aoki Jungo joked around with Choi Hong. Choi Hong had a lot of fun. Suddenly, she got a call from a friend. Choi Hong's mother disapproved of her daughter's decision to go to Japan on a whim. Choi Hong thought her mother was too controlling. They argued over the phone. After hanging up, Choi Hong felt down. Then, it started pouring rain. Although Aoki Jungo didn't understand Korean, he could tell Choi Hong was upset. To cheer her up, he invited her for drinks after work. That evening, Choi Hong vented to Aoki Jungo while drinking. She just felt uncertain about the future and wanted a break, but her closest family kept pressuring her to make choices. Choi Hong was happy to find out Aoki Jungo also majored in literature. She felt a connection and predicted his dream of becoming a writer would come true. To test her intuition, a drunk Choi Hong took Aoki Jungo to play claw machines. Despite trying all night, she couldn't win the prize she wanted. Aoki Jungo walked her home under his umbrella. Along the way, a drunk Choi Hong refused his escort, claiming she was a fast runner because she ran 5 laps in the park every morning. After saying this, she dashed off into the rain. The next day, Choi Hong, now sober, remembered asking Aoki Jungo for money to buy coins for the machines last night. She felt embarrassed. While running in the park, she encountered Aoki Jungo and turned to flee. He immediately chased after her. However, Aoki Jungo accidentally bumped into a morning jogger and fell. Choi Hong stopped to check on him. Aoki Jungo pulled out a blue toy, the one Choi Hong had failed to win the day before. He claimed he won it on his first try, but in reality, he had run back after parting with her and tried several times before succeeding. Choi Hong looked at the blue toy, believing in destiny. They went on a date in the Cherry Blossom Valley. The blossoms mirrored their vibrant emotions. Ambiguity was thrilling. 5 years later, Choi Hong became an editor at a publishing house, about to marry a man her parents approved of. That day, her father asked her to translate for a writer from Japan. To her surprise, it was Aoki Jungo, whom she hadn't seen in 5 years. When Aoki Jungo saw Choi Hong, he felt conflicted. Unfortunately, Choi Hong had calmed down from the shock and kept her distance. The mature Choi Hong no longer had the innocence of the past. Aoki Jungo took his luggage to his room and pulled out the toy Choi Hong had won years ago, reminiscing about their past. After their Cherry Blossom Valley date, he, who never liked running, started to run daily to accompany Choi Hong. When Choi Hong asked why he kept it up, he finally mustered the courage to confess. He believed in undying love, just like his feelings for her. They went back to Aoki Jungo's rental, kissed each other, and embraced. Choi Hong wished if there were forever, time would stop at this moment. At that time, they couldn't bear to be apart, hoping to be together every moment. Choi Hong soon moved into Aoki Jungo's rental. Aoki Jungo hung the two toys on their keys as symbols of their love, each keeping one. Aoki Jungo introduced Choi Hong to his father. He wanted to announce to the world that Choi Hong was his girlfriend. One day, he came home and did not see Choi Hong, but found a letter instead. In the letter, Choi Hong wrote that she couldn't believe their love had ever existed, and that she would forever keep this beautiful memory sealed. However, she needed to return to her reality, to her own place. The memory ended. Aoki Jungo received a phone call. He was shooting a cover as requested by the organizer. The photographer asked Choi Hong to straighten Aoki Jungo's collar. Touching someone familiar after 5 years, Choi Hong felt very complicated. Aoki Jungo was also very sentimental, recalling their sweet memories. Choi Hong accidentally stepped back and fell. Aoki Jungo quickly caught her, and they only had eyes for each other. After coming to her senses, Choi Hong broke the awkward silence. A reporter interviewed Aoki Jungo, asking if the character in his novel was still in Japan. Aoki Jungo looked at Choi Hong. The heroine of his novel was Choi Hong, but he couldn't announce that she was right there. Choi Hong took the initiative to decline the reporter's question and asked to move to the next one. The reporter wanted to know why Aoki Jungo chose Kyoto as the setting for his story. Aoki Jungo's memories went back to 5 years ago, their first trip after moving in together. They visited Kyoto, Choi Hong's desired destination. There, they paid homage to their favorite poet, ran wildly in the rain, and Choi Hong even took Aoki Jungo to see her father's first love. She wanted to understand what charm had made her father never forget her. That night, they stayed at her home and vowed never to part, no matter what. On the final question, the reporter asked if Aoki Jungo still loved her. Choi Hong was silent for a long time before translating this question. After a moment, Aoki Jungo answered that he had never forgotten her in these 5 years. Choi Hong struggled to accept this profound answer and asked to end the interview for the day. After sending Aoki Jungo back to the hotel with the staff, Choi Hong politely said goodbye. A new translator would come tomorrow, and they would not meet again. Aoki Jungo, watching Choi Hong leave, felt the pain of separation again. If Choi Hong had cried and broken up with him years ago, what could he have said to stop her? He didn't want to regret it again. Aoki Jungo hurriedly ran downstairs, recklessly stopped Choi Hong's car, and got in. He didn't want to miss another chance. He confessed to Choi Hong, hoping to clear up any misunderstandings and possibly start over. Choi Hong interrupted him. They had been apart for too long. She had already let go of what she wanted to say and ask. Now she was about to get married and hoped Aoki Jungo would say and do nothing. Heartbroken, Aoki Jungo left. Choi Hong parked her car on the roadside to calm down. She hadn't expected that after 5 years, she still couldn't forget Aoki Jungo. Choi Hong returned home and her sister reminded her that her fiancé, Song Min-jun, had called to check if she had come back. Choi Hong remembered the past and her hurried departure to Korea after the breakup. Her friends and Song Min-jun came to pick her up. Song Min-jun gave her a warm hug and welcomed her back. Then, Song Min-jun took her to the hospital. There, she learned her father was seriously ill. During her absence, Song Min-jun had taken great care of her parents. Aoki Jungo finished the interview. He asked the new translator if they knew Choi Hong's home address. Once he got the address, he hesitated, unsure whether to visit Choi Hong. At that moment, his ex-girlfriend Kobayashi Kana from Japan suddenly came to see him. After Choi Hong had broken up and left Japan, Aoki Jungo was depressed for a long time. Kobayashi Kana, seeing his condition, teased him. She remarked that he had never been this upset, even after their breakup. Kobayashi Kana missed Aoki Jungo and wanted to comfort him and have him return to her side. Her arrival in Korea was sudden and direct. She made it clear she came for Aoki Jungo. She even declared her claim in front of their business partners, thanking them for taking good care of Aoki Jungo. Meanwhile, Choi Hong was trying on wedding dresses with Song Min-jun and a friend. Song Min-jun was picking out a suit and asking for her opinion. However, she was distracted. As she tried on a wedding dress, she remembered showing Aoki Jungo her dress excitedly. Now, wearing the dress, she hesitated to step out in front of Song Min-jun. Eventually, she claimed the size was wrong and removed the dress. Song Min-jun comforted her, suggesting they try more shops to find the right one. Choi Hong asked Song Min-jun to leave first. She would go dining with a friend. Her friend noticed she was troubled. Choi Hong no longer hid her feelings. The reappearance of Aoki Jungo had disturbed her. As she confided in her friend, she recalled how hard Aoki Jungo worked at various jobs 5 years ago. She never wanted to leave him and wanted to know everything about him, to be a part of his life. After her friend left Japan and she knew no one else in the foreign country, Aoki Jungo's busy work schedule often left her feeling lonely. Their youth and impulsiveness back then did not help them manage conflicts and emotions, deepening their misunderstandings. The next day, her sister called. Their father's company was facing bankruptcy, and the family might move to a remote area. Choi Hong was worried, and failing her graduate exams added to her distress. Aoki Jungo was always busy, leaving her with no one to talk to. She relied on running to vent her frustrations, but was harassed by some drunkards. She tried to escape by running faster, but accidentally fell. In pain, she ran to a police station for help. The police contacted Aoki Jungo, but he didn't answer. Choi Hong went to the hospital alone to get medicine. She tried to reach Aoki Jungo again. He glanced at his phone, but was too busy with customers to answer. When he got home and saw the crutches by Choi Hong, he realized she was injured. He explained that the shop was too busy for him to answer the phone. Choi Hong felt helpless and accused him. She said everything seemed more important to him than she was. Aoki Jungo didn't understand her troubles or care about what happened to her. If he truly loved her, she challenged him to quit his job immediately. Aoki Jungo tried to reason with her. Without a job, he couldn't pursue his dream of being a writer. He worked hard to stay with Choi Hong. Choi Hong did not accept this explanation. She felt alone and vulnerable due to her loneliness. Their youth and impulsive nature led to a lack of understanding, which caused their breakup. Choi Hong and a friend went to a food stall and unexpectedly saw Song Min-jun there. Her friend left, giving them some privacy. Choi Hong wanted to be honest with Song Min-jun, but he stopped her. Song Min-jun believed that the feelings she harbored would eventually change, just like the world around them changes. At the same time, Aoki Jungo and Kobayashi Kana were having dinner. Kobayashi Kana felt lost as she couldn't understand Aoki Jungo's thoughts. She came to take him back to Japan, having waited 5 years to love him again. Aoki Jungo's silence made Kobayashi Kana anxious. She asked if he had seen Choi Hong, but he did not respond. After dinner, Aoki Jungo returned to his hotel room. Someone rang the doorbell, hoping it was Choi Hong. He was disappointed to find Kobayashi Kana, who then proposed to him. Choi Hong's mother asked about the wedding venue. Choi Hong mentioned that Song Min-jun was handling it. Her mother noticed the lack of joy on Choi Hong's face and advised her that marriage is about choosing a suitable partner, not just being with someone you love. She praised Song Min-jun as a faithful and kind man. Choi Hong knew Song Min-jun was good, but sometimes the heart is hard to control. The more she tried to forget, the more she remembered. In Japan, Choi Hong and Aoki Jungo had discussed marriage. The owner of the ramen shop where she worked was getting married and invited them. Excited, Choi Hong daydreamed about her own wedding with Aoki Jungo. She wanted a small wedding with all her colleagues and Aoki Jungo's father handling the music. They passed a bridal shop, and Aoki Jungo took her in to try on a dress. Seeing her in the dress, Aoki Jungo was stunned by her beauty. On the wedding day, Aoki Jungo borrowed a suit from a friend who thought he was going for an interview. The friend mentioned a job opening at a publishing house Aoki Jungo was interested in. He went there first, got the job due to his talent, and was asked to start immediately. Aoki Jungo texted Choi Hong that he would be late. Choi Hong waited a long time and was invited on stage to perform. Aoki Jungo missed her performance. She sang a song she had prepared for him, regretting his absence. Aoki Jungo rushed to the wedding after work, but it was already over. He explained to Choi Hong at home that it was a job he had long desired and couldn't miss the opportunity. Choi Hong was upset about being stood up. They argued, and afterward, Choi Hong went for a walk alone, realizing that eternal love does not exist. Time returns to the present. Aoki Jungo goes to the park near Choi Hong's house, hoping to bump into her. He sees Choi Hong running towards him and becomes very nervous. However, Choi Hong runs past him without stopping or speaking to him. Disappointed, Aoki Jungo returns to his accommodation. The staff responsible for hosting Aoki Jungo ask about Choi Hong, noting that tomorrow is Aoki Jungo's birthday and wondering what gift would be appropriate. Choi Hong recalls celebrating Aoki Jungo's birthday years ago. They had dinner at Aoki Jungo's father's house. On the way back, Choi Hong wanted to buy the cake that Aoki Jungo's grandmother used to give him, but she couldn't afford it and had to give up the idea. Back home under the night sky, Choi Hong confesses her love for Aoki Jungo. Aoki Jungo is happy, but being reserved, struggles to express his feelings. However, he promises that one day he will write a novel about his love for Choi Hong. Choi Hong vows to buy him that special cake for future birthdays. Back then, they only spoke of a bright future and overlooked the problems between them, which gradually worsened their happiness, oblivious to the harsh realities of life. The next day, at Aoki Jungo's book signing event, the host asks about his writing inspiration. Aoki Jungo says he didn't intend to write a grand story. The novel is a confession to someone and memories that can't be erased. If that person reads his book, he hopes they understand his past foolishness and immaturity, and realize it was written with a faint hope. Choi Hong, moved by his words, takes out an envelope from her bag. Days earlier, her sister had borrowed a guitar. After their breakup, Choi Hong returned to Korea alone. At her request, Aoki Jungo sent her belongings back to her. She had stored these items away and never touched them until her sister found the envelope inside the guitar. Choi Hong had never had the courage to open it until now. During the signing, an unexpected person lines up. A fan who is actually Choi Hong's fiancé, Song Min-jun. The two find a quiet place to talk. Song Min-jun asks Aoki Jungo not to disturb Choi Hong's heart, as she is soon to be his wife. Aoki Jungo explains that Song Min-jun has misunderstood. Choi Hong has forgotten him, but he has not been able to let go. Aoki Jungo pleads with Song Min-jun to never let Choi Hong feel lonely. Song Min-jun retorts that it's his duty, and Aoki Jungo need not worry. This stings Aoki Jungo, as he realizes that during their time together, he often left Choi Hong alone due to his busy work schedule. He noticed that Choi Hong started running more and for longer periods, guessing it was her way to cope with loneliness, but he was afraid to ask. When he was a child, his parents often argued. When his mother left home, she asked him whom he wanted to live with. He answered without hesitation, "Mom," but that was not what she wanted to hear. She left alone, leaving him with his father. That was when he understood that life does not always go as one says it might, and sometimes what is left unsaid might be better. He avoided conflicts with Choi Hong, believing they would eventually disappear. However, this led to him losing her. At the same time, Choi Hong opened a letter from Aoki Jungo written years ago. In the letter, Aoki Jungo expressed regret for not realizing her loneliness sooner and letting her leave. He vowed to keep his regret in his heart, hoping to meet his love again one day. Choi Hong wiped away her tears, feeling a mix of pain and sadness. The publisher held a celebration for Aoki Jungo, and Choi Hong's father personally invited him to a restaurant. Before leaving, Aoki Jungo signed autographs for the publisher's staff, sitting at Choi Hong's desk. He saw the blue toy he had given Choi Hong years ago, stirring complex emotions within him, realizing she too might still hold on to their memories. Despite her father's insistence, Choi Hong attended the celebration. Knowing it was Aoki Jungo's birthday, she had a cake ordered for him, the same type she had promised to buy him in the past. Her colleague revealed it was Choi Hong who chose the cake. Another colleague speculated about the real-life inspiration for the characters in the novel. Aoki Jungo glanced at Choi Hong and shared that the book had a happy ending, contrary to reality, blaming himself for not understanding her loneliness, which led her to return to Korea. Choi Hong's reminiscence was interrupted by a call from her sister, crying that their father had filed for bankruptcy and their family publishing house might close. Unable to reach her father all day, she felt helpless and worried. Choi Hong called Aoki Jungo to discuss her family's crisis, but he was busy working overtime and did not answer. At that moment, Choi Hong realized she had been neglecting her family for a relationship. When Aoki Jungo returned from work, he explained that the publishing house's lead author had suddenly passed away, and he had to cover for his colleagues. Choi Hong complained that he always had excuses, each seeming more important than her. but he should have still returned her call. Both felt misunderstood, and the conflicts they had avoided erupted. Choi Hong never received the apology she deserved, feeling dismissed as unreasonable by Aoki Jungo. She told him many times that, for her, Japan was a foreign country where she was alone except for Aoki Jungo. Yet he still left her feeling lonely. She proposed they break up. Now, back in the present, Choi Hong confronted Aoki Jungo, stating his inability to alleviate her loneliness indicated his feelings had changed. Aoki Jungo looked her in the eyes, assuring her his feelings had never changed. Choi Hong found an excuse to leave first. Song Min-jun met with Choi Hong and proposed marriage, offering to move to the US for further training. He promised to never let her feel lonely, no matter where they were. Choi Hong refused, admitting she couldn't let go of Aoki Jungo. Song Min-jun regretted not confessing his feelings before Choi Hong went to Japan, thinking the outcome might have been different. Choi Hong gave a harsh answer. Even if she had met them and fallen in love before meeting Aoki Jungo, even if she had married and had children, her heart would still flutter for Aoki Jungo if he appeared. Choi Hong apologized because she loved him. She couldn't bear to deceive him. Choi Hong felt very sorry for hurting Song Min-jun, but she had now realized her true feelings for Aoki Jungo. She needed to see Aoki Jungo immediately. On her way to find Aoki Jungo, Choi Hong bought a bouquet of flowers. However, when she found him, she saw Aoki Jungo with his ex-girlfriend, Kobayashi Kana. Kobayashi Kana had followed Aoki Jungo to Korea, wanting to be with him, but Aoki Jungo kept rejecting her. Kobayashi Kana admitted she became less like herself around Aoki Jungo and decided to find her confident self again. Seeing Choi Hong suddenly appear, Kobayashi Kana turned and left. She told Aoki Jungo, Choi Hong must not have forgotten him, because Choi Hong had just been there. Realizing this, Aoki Jungo immediately chased after her, but he was too late. Choi Hong had already driven away. The next day, Kobayashi Kana said goodbye to Aoki Jungo. She would return to Japan. She hoped Aoki Jungo would look into Choi Hong's eyes and speak the truth, so that the long-standing misunderstandings would naturally resolve. Before returning to Japan, Aoki Jungo gave one last interview. On the way, he asked to stop at the publishing house. He expressed his gratitude to everyone there, regretting that Choi Hong was not present. As he left, he hung his keychain together with Choi Hong's, hoping they would never be apart again. Upon returning, Choi Hong saw the keychains and finally decided to open the book Aoki Jungo had written. Meanwhile, Aoki Jungo answered a reporter's question. What comes after love? He had felt this after Choi Hong left. They had shared the same space, but he had not understood her loneliness. As he walked past places they had visited, he deeply felt regret and longing. He recorded his true feelings, writing about his story with Choi Hong, expressing his guilt and his belief in starting over with Choi Hong. After the interview, before parting with the translator, Aoki Jungo got Choi Hong's mobile number. Before he could call, Choi Hong called him. Aoki Jungo explained there was nothing between him and Kobayashi Kana and pleaded to meet Choi Hong. Choi Hong, crying, agreed to the request. But upon meeting, Choi Hong stopped Aoki Jungo from speaking, saying she came to thank him for recording their story. She was happy to have been loved by Aoki Jungo. She falsely claimed she had accepted Song Min-jun's proposal, wishing Aoki Jungo a smooth journey back to Japan. With tears in his eyes, Aoki Jungo asked Choi Hong to be happy. Choi Hong recalled meeting her father's first love in Japan. Her grandfather had strongly opposed it, and her father had left Japan to return to Korea. She asked the first love if she resented her father. The first love smiled and shook her head, thanking Choi Hong's father for not taking her back to Korea. In a foreign land, living alone, she couldn't have done it. The first love told her meaningless love does not exist. All love, just by being love itself, is something to be blessed. Aoki Jungo was about to take a flight out of South Korea. When checking out, the hotel staff handed him a bunch of flowers left behind. The recipient's name on them was his. Opening the card inside, Aoki Jungo found Choi Hong's handwriting wishing him a happy birthday. Choi Hong went running in the park and saw a plane flying overhead. She guessed Aoki Jungo might be on it. Suddenly, someone ran alongside her. It was Aoki Jungo, who was supposed to have left. Aoki Jungo shared that after she left, He started running because he missed her, but it only made him lonelier, and he understood her loneliness back then. He apologized for his late understanding. Choi Hong cried and apologized too, for being immature and expressing her emotions through anger, which must have been hard for Aoki Jungo. He wiped her tears, took her hand, and Choi Hong held his hand back. Together, they walked forward, hand in hand.